rookie, has been awesome. He's matured as a player and he's playing, to his potential. I feel like he hasn't reached his full potential. He's kind of like the rookie who's still growing, and I feel like he's the guy that's gonna and have an explosive year this year.
We'll go next to Nick Jacobs. And real quick, Juju, are you able to turn your camera for us? So you go sideways?
This way.
Yes. You might have your lock orientation on.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let's see what you're talking about.
Mhm. There we go. Perfect. Thanks so much.
Perfect. Sirski.
And Kelsey, I will follow up if I can, please. Juju, my first question for you. Can you take me back to draft night? What was that like? The atmosphere around you, maybe the draft party, and then just getting that call and knowing you're in the league.
Yeah, man. Damn, man, you taking me way, way back.
It's only been a
uh,
couple of years, man. Come on.
nah, you're good. You're good. So yeah, man, dude, draft night was very emotional. What I decided to do was stay home, with my family and, spend it there and um, being able to like, experience that with my family, being drafted is amazing. Just for like my advice for like the guys, who may not go first round, because I thought I was gonna go first round and I didn't, and I slipped to the second round. Is just keep having faith, right? Just having the opportunity to just keep going out there, and when you get the opportunity, just make the most of it. And I feel like that night was a special night because I stayed home back home in California with 100, like I think it was about 200 people that came to my draft party, so it was a cool experience.
And then, all right, final question for you. What is it about the Kansas City Chiefs organization that keeps making you want to come back and being a part of, the years of your career with football?
Honestly, I think it's the whole thing. I think it's a little bit of the owner with Andy Reid and his staff that he has, being able to let me play to my potential, and I feel like being in that offense is has helped my career in so many different ways. But it's just fun, right? The guys I get to play with, my teammates, like on the opposite side is it makes our job a lot easier for them to do all that. But at the same time, I enjoy playing there. I enjoy the fans. I enjoyed uh, everything that comes with Kansas City.
We'll hear from Matt Derrick next. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey Juju, a couple of questions for you. But first one, what's the benefit? How beneficial is it to be with a team through OTAs and through training camp going into the season versus what you've had to do sometimes like last year when you're coming in mid-season, even though you were here before?
Yeah, I mean it's very beneficial. I mean, you get two sides of it. I think when you start off in OTAs, you kind of build that relationship with your new teammates, the coaches, and you kind of get a feel for everyone on this journey. And I feel like that OTAs going into camp, like that's everything that builds up. All pretty much the scars, the bruises you're going throughout those training camps, and being able to go into the season and like, all right, like we've been through worse, like we know what it takes. And last year I didn't get to experience that. I've came in at the beginning of the season, but it was still nice though because everything was kind of still very similar to the same. Some things were changed, but it's going to be a lot different when I have that opportunity to go through this again with the team.
And I think you went down to Texas your first year with Patrick, right?
Yes.
Are you planning on going down there again this time
I'm
around or?
I'm 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 actually here right now, man. I'm actually here right now. So yeah, we've just been getting after it, trying to get ahead of it in this period.
What's it like? What do you guys all do down there? Do you have a nickname for it? What's the experience?
Uh, there's no nickname. I think it's just Pat has his little workouts, and we just go, we throw with him, and it's pretty cool, man, to see how he trains in his facility and everything. Uh, in Texas, man, I'm not familiar with Texas, but it's a big state, and he has a nice little compound that we train at.
We'll go next to Adam Teicher. Adam?
Hey, Juju, other than winning another Super Bowl like you did your first time around with the Chiefs, what would make this year upcoming a successful year for you? Again, other than winning a championship.
I mean, obviously, contribute to the team. I want to be obviously helping every way aspect I can possible. At the same time, I want to be able to play and have being able to score more touchdowns, more yardage, more catches. Obviously, in my career, that's definitely what I want, and to help this team as much as possible. I do feel like there's so much you know I have that I last year that I really get to do. Kind of going back to not being with them during training camp and building that relationship over a period of time and OTA. So it's going to be nice to actually be back going into the season starting at the beginning with everyone.
Okay, thanks.
And we'll go next to Jesse Newell. Jesse?
Yeah, Juju, I asked Hollywood about his hair, so I figure I should do the same for you. I know you were big into fashion and art galleries and things like that. Is the purple hair going to stay, or what's up with it?
It's gonna stay probably for the summer for the most part. I went to Japan recently with my siblings, to my sister for her little graduation gift. So I kind of went with like the cherry blossom vibes. Kind of changed up the hairstyle. So yeah, I know. Hollywood cut his hair, Xavier cut his hair. So I saw Pat cut his hair. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a new look for everybody.
Thanks, Juju. We appreciate the time. Looks like that's all we have for you today.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you. I'll see you guys soon.
our local media, and we'll get you in and out.
Sounds good.
We'll kick things off with Jesse Newell. Go ahead, Jesse.
Hey, Creed, I wanted to ask you first about getting Trey back for another year. I know you guys are close on the field and maybe even pushing cars in the snow too. So what's it going to be like to have him back for another year?
No, it's great. Trey's a tremendous player, and he's also a tremendous guy in the locker room. So having his presence around, it's a great thing for us, and he kind of helps maintain that culture that we have throughout the building. So it's great to have him another year.
I also wanted to ask about Kingsley. Coach talked yesterday about him moving to left guard, and you preliminary saw him there last year in practice. I guess what have you seen from him, and what makes you confident that he can take that step?
Yeah, he's an extremely talented player, first and foremost, and he strives to be really good every single day. He shows up with the right attitude. He shows up with the right mindset. So with a guy like him, with how talented he is, and his work ethic, things usually turn out to be pretty good. So we're excited for him.
We'll go next to Blair Kirkhoff. Go ahead, Blair.
Hi, Creed. Just wondering what your off-season emphasis has been, and has it been any different than previous off seasons for you?
Yeah, I think there's always things to improve on and stuff. Right now, for me, it's mainly been, strength and conditioning. So just continue to develop in that realm. And then also technique-wise, just doing different drills. That's kind of my thing that I've always done during this time is, really focus on the strength and conditioning aspect, and then, also get work in, drills with technique, things like that.
We'll go next to Nick Jacobs. Nick?
And Kelsey, I will follow up if I can, please. Creed, I just want to take you back to draft night. What was that moment like for you and getting that call from Andy and Veach, and what did that mean to you?
Yeah, it was a lot of emotions throughout that entire process. So getting that call, finding out where I ended up being and stuff, it was a huge relief, and it was also a ton of excitement just because I felt like it was the perfect fit for me. Being close to Oklahoma still, going and playing with a Hall of Fame quarterback, a Hall of Fame coach, all those things. I think it was the perfect fit for me. So it was a ton of excitement and a ton of relief too, just having that process over with.
And I know over the years you and Trey have gone down and worked with Duke and been a part of O-line masterminds. What has that done for you guys in developing your game and enhancing it?
Yeah, I think it's a great thing to be able to go do. And when you get in a room like O-line masterminds, and you have just a ton of guys that are in the league that have been retired now, that have walked our shoes, all those things. Just getting to pick their brains, talk to them about how they approach different things and all that. I think it's a huge thing for guys.
We'll go to Adam Teicher next. Adam?
Hey, Creed, wanted to ask you about Jalen Moore, what you know about his game, and how you can maybe make his transition to Kansas City that much smoother.
Yeah, no, Jalen's a great guy. We were actually in the Senior Bowl together during the whole draft process and stuff. So, I was with him for a week down there, and he's got a great mentality, a great attitude, and a great work ethic. And he's a talented player. So, we're excited about having him in the room. And yeah, he's played with Mike Caliendo also in college. So, there's familiar faces with him here. Trey was a part of that Senior Bowl class too. So it's good that he has familiar faces and stuff. Now, for us, it's just kind of, teaching him the ropes, kind of helping him, with the study game, playbook, things like that. And then also just showing them how we work around here, and showing them what we do and how to prepare, and how to take your game to the next level. So we're excited about him. He's a heck of a player.
Great, thank you.
Well, Creed, it looks like we're going to keep it short and sweet for you today, but we appreciate the time.
Sounds good. Thank you.